Well, Mr. Trump, it's day 11, and this video message goes out to you, all of the other presidential candidates, and the politicians of the entire country. But most of all, you, the general public, who vote these crazy bastards into office to take your rights away from you. Today, let me show you a little bit about the numbers game and how scams work in order to take your rights away from you right here in the United States. They're trying to introduce a bill called the Big Cat Safety Act. What this bill's going to do is exempt a private organization, not a government agency, called the AZA, the American Zoological Association. And they're the only ones that are going to be able to keep big cats. But you know, they like to use the word, big cats are dangerous. They maul you, people have been killed, all kinds of things. And today I'm going to show you just how they play the numbers game in order to get their laws pushed across and put money in politicians' pockets in order to take your rights away. First of all, big cats are not as dangerous as they would like you to pretend that they are. Most injuries, maulings, and escapes that happen in AZA zoos. And you'd have to ask yourself why. First of all, in a private facility such as ours and many others around the country, we interact with our animals. They're hand-raised, they're born here in the United States. You never see one of the caretakers or a zoo owner of an AZA facility walk into their facility, into a tiger enclosure like this with 5 large cats, and be able to kiss them on the mouth, because we know what we're doing. Second of all, our animals are not caught in the wild. A lot of people misconcept what's going on with the AZA, and that is, in order to be an AZA member, you got to climb up that little nose-brushing ladder of kissing ass. Second, you have to pay a large fee to become a member. And the last, most of your animals have to be wild caught. Doesn't that just go against the whole aspect of trying to save the animals in the wild? 2, let's start out with some of their numbers games. We're using the numbers straight out of the Big Cat Safety Act and off of one of the biggest pushers in this country for this bill to go across, and that's Carole down at Big Cat Rescue. So we're going to use their numbers and her numbers to show you that they can't even come up with the same numbers. According to the text on the Big Cat Safety Act, they're trying to tell you that there's 10 to 20,000 big cats in the United States alone. 10 to 20,000 big cats? They can't come up with more of a firmer number than to estimate 10 more thousand unaccounted for big cats? We've counted the big cats straight off of their website that they use with the USDA records in order to show this. And we can only come up with a little over 5,000 big cats registered in the United States. Now they're saying there's more big cats there are in captivity than in all the wild. To me, that would make perfect sense, to be able to save a species in captivity that there's no hope for in the wild. Next, they come up with 22 reported deaths on one website in the last 21 years and 23 reported deaths on another website in the last 23 years, along with 248 maulings, 260 escapes, and 144 big cat deaths. First of all, the 144 number is way out of touch. Carole at Big Cat Rescue alone has lost, killed, and skinned most of 167 herself. Now, straight off of Big Cat Rescue's website, who is pushing this bill, she can't even get her numbers to match with the bill that she's pushing. You'll notice here that the numbers are just slightly off. Now, one of my biggest bitches and moans and complaints about you politicians is you take money from lobbyists and con artists such as Carole down at Big Cat Rescue. Now, if you look at her website right here, you'll see that the statistics that they are using against the American public aren't even in America. They're including big cat maulings, escapes from all over the world. And they're trying to infringe on our rights right here in America because Russia, China, and Malaysia and other countries can't keep their cats under control. Last but not least, I'd like to say, how in the hell is the AZA Species Survival Plan going to ever make it with one cat in a zoo? You can see by the registered numbers with the USDA that most of your big city zoos like Boise, Idaho, and everywhere else only have one tiger. How in the hell is the species survival plan ever going to make it with one tiger without the population of the private sector zoos here in the United States in order to keep such a tame, magnificent bloodline alive? It comes down to who's the best con artist. The most amazing thing that I've seen on the internet today pushing this entire bill is off of the Big Cat Rescue website. Support the Big Cat Safety Act. Call your congressman and tell them that this needs to stop today. And they slap a goddamn picture of a lady who got her face eaten off by a chimpanzee. But underneath the picture, it just says an exotic pet owner, misleading the entire country, politicians and you, to believe that a tiger took that lady's face off. So, if I was to put $50,000 in your pocket, would you just vote on something without ever researching it? This is the most easy job anybody could ever have, is get online, get on their websites, and see they can't even come up with the same numbers, the same stories to take your rights away from you here in America. It's the biggest chicken shit game I've ever seen in my life. So to sum it up, if you think big cats are this dangerous, I'd be sitting in this cage with 5 large cats in this condition. You're absolutely wrong. Wake up, America, and pull your heads out of your ass. Donald Trump, this is the next 6 questions we're waiting to ask. Here in America, we have a war in the animal world and the animal rights people in order to take our rights away. And 62.8 million people here in America own pets, and we'd like to know your comments and your concerns about a few issues. Question number 1. How do you feel about 501c3 organizations here in America that are scamming the public for hundreds of millions of dollars to take care of animals, and none of it goes to the animals? 90% of it goes to lobbyists to pass laws to further their agenda. 2, it seems like terrorist is the #1 topic anytime you turn the news on anymore. Are you aware that our own government, the United States Department of Agriculture, declared PETA a #1 domestic terrorist in the United States on November the 30th, 2009, and they're still a nonprofit tax organization here in America? How can you be a terrorist and get a tax break from your own country right here in America? 3, we'd like to know your opinion on how you feel on online bullying, not only of children, but adults, in the name of free speech, in order to bash somebody and ruin their reputation and their good name, only to make money for yourself and get away with it under the Declaration of Free Speech. 4, we'd like to know, how come us Americans that own our own property, own our own houses, and pay taxes on them do not have the right to have our own pets that we choose to have on our property or in our homes? Number 5, do you not think that we Americans have the right to assume the risk of our profession, no different than a cop, a firefighter, an oil rig worker, or anyone else that has the assumption of the risk of their professions? It is our right. And please, if you become president, give us back our right. And number 6, one of the most important, and this kind of touched on your speech at the Oklahoma State Fair about things being made in other countries and taxing them when they come into America. Do you not believe that it should be a right that any product made from the rainforest or an animal's habitat somewhere in the world should be taxed in order to be sold in America, and that tax money go back to helping rebuild the habitat and the rainforest so some of these animals don't become extinct in the futures to come? I'm Joe Exotic, and along with 62.8 million other people, we'd like to know if you have any answers for any of this. And you wouldn't believe the support you would get. But this war on American citizens and their animals has got to come to a stop.